story. The Five Daughters of Nairobi, a father's final gift. In the heart of Nairobi, one of Africa's busiest and most dazzling cities, lived a wealthy businessman named Mr. Jabbar. His skyscrapers kissed the clouds, his luxury cars gleamed under the African sun, and his bank accounts overflowed beyond imagination. He had everything: wealth, fame, respect. But the pride of his life was not his riches. It was his 5 beautiful daughters, Leila, Zahra, Ayaan, Zahra, and Hafsah. Mr. Jabbar spared no expense in raising his daughters. They attended the finest schools, wore the most elegant clothes, and traveled to the world's grandest cities. He dreamed that one day his daughters would not only inherit his fortune but also his honor, wisdom, and values. But as time went by, the glitter of wealth began to seep into their hearts like a slow poison. Leila grew obsessed with parties and nightlife, chasing the thrill of endless celebrations. Zahra became addicted to fame, craving likes, followers, and headlines more than anything else. Ayaan lost herself in a life of appearances, building an image that looked perfect from the outside but felt hollow within. Zahra hopped from one relationship to another, breaking hearts and losing trust along the way. Hafsah learned to measure life not by truth but by advantage, doing whatever benefited her the most. Mr. Jabbar tried again and again to speak to his daughters, to pull them back to the values he had once taught them. But the girls would laugh and say lightly, "Oh, father, these are old-fashioned ideas. The world has changed now." Years rolled on. Mr. Jabbar, once a giant in the city, grew old and frail. His voice lost its strength, and his proud eyes dimmed with unfulfilled dreams. He watched helplessly as his daughters drifted farther and farther from the path he had hoped for them. Then came a day when his health deteriorated severely. Lying weak and pale on a hospital bed, surrounded by the sterile smell of antiseptics and the beeping of machines, Mr. Jabbar knew he had little time left. He summoned his daughters for one final meeting. As they stood around him, dressed in their designer clothes and speaking into their phones, Mr. Jabbar's eyes welled up with tears. In a trembling voice, he said, "My daughters, I gave you the world, but somewhere along the way you lost your hearts. You earned wealth, but you forgot honor. Before I leave this world, I want to give you one last treasure, a gift more precious than all my riches." One by one, he handed each daughter a sealed envelope, a handwritten letter meant only for her. Inside, the letters were not deeds to his businesses, not keys to hidden safes, but words, simple, timeless, powerful words. To Leila, he wrote, "True happiness is not found in endless parties, but in the peace within your own heart." To Zahra, he wrote, "True fame comes from character, not from screens or crowds." To Ayaan, he wrote, "A life built on appearances will one day shatter. Build a life on truth instead." To Zahra, he wrote, "Broken relationships leave wounds that riches cannot heal. Nurture the bonds that matter." To Hafsah, he wrote, "Temporary gain is easy, but lasting honor comes only from living in truth." The daughters held the letters in their hands, tears blurring the ink. For the first time in years, their hearts felt something deeper than ambition. They felt regret, sorrow, and love. Shortly after handing over his last words, Mr. Jabbar closed his eyes and peacefully passed away, his face calm, as if he knew his message had finally reached their souls. Days turned into weeks, and change slowly blossomed where pride once lived. Leila abandoned the wild parties and used her wealth to build a home for orphaned children, finding a deeper kind of joy. Zahra walked away from empty fame and returned to university, dedicating herself to spreading education among young women. Ayaan let go of the facade she had built and embraced a life of simplicity and authenticity. Zahra sought forgiveness from those she had hurt and rebuilt the broken bridges with friends and family. Hafsah gave up her selfish ways and became a fierce advocate for justice, earning respect not through money, but through truth. The people of Nairobi watched in amazement. They whispered in the bustling streets and towering offices, "The daughters of Jabbar have changed. They have found the true treasure their father left behind." And so, Mr. Jabbar's name lived on, not just through the buildings he left behind, but through the legacy written on the hearts of his daughters. Even today, in the heart of Nairobi, parents tell their children, real inheritance is not palaces, cars, or bank accounts. Real inheritance is a father's prayers and his timeless wisdom.